All right, quilters, we are so excited to be here in the Hotel Metropolitan, which is a historic place here in Paducah. And this is the lovely Betty Dobson. Thank you so much for meeting with us today.
Thank you
You
for
bet.
coming.
Now, Betty, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at the hotel?
Well, my name is Betty Dobson, and I am the chief bottle washer, cook, cleaner, whatever is needed. I do it here.
How long have you been part of the hotel?
This will be my 23rd year in September.
Wow, congratulations,
Thank
that's
you.
exciting.
Thank you.
So in its heyday, this hotel hosted all sorts of famous people, right?
Right.
So you told us a great story about on the front porch. You want to tell us that story again?
I would love to tell you that
It was
story.
a great story.
You know, the hotel has had many famous people, but one of the stories that come to mind is about B.B. King. And B.B. King came here in the 50s, late 50s or so, and they said that he lost his money gambling, and so he couldn't leave Paducah. So the owner at that particular time, which was Olivia and Lester Gaines, allowed him to stay here, but what he would do is that he would sit out on the front porch on this old glider that was out there, and people would hear him playing his guitar, Lucille. So they would come by and they would throw money up on the porch. And that's how he got enough money to leave. And that story is true because I can't tell you how many people walked up to me and told me how BB would sit on that front porch and play Lucille, and they would throw their coins up there on the front porch.
I love it. So
Yeah.
what was the draw here at the Hotel Metropolitan? You know, because Paducah is not really, you know, a big town. Kind of what was the draw for people to come and visit?
Well, you have to remember that early on, when the hotel was built, there was laws called the Jim Crow laws.
Right, right.
So that was the main reason. African American people just couldn't go to any restaurant or hotel that they would want to. They would have to go to one that would accept them.
Right.
And so the Hotel Metropolitan filled that need.
It's beautiful. And then how did the G's Bend Quilters become a part of you? Because this is an amazing, I know I'm going to let you tell the story because I just think this is so amazing.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, but the reason why we reached out to Loretta Petway Bennett is that I just loved the stories that I had heard about the G's Bend Quilters. So every year, you know, during Quilt Show, we host a African American quilter, you know, if they're well known or whatever, but we try to shine light on the African American quilters and their contributions as well. They're artists just like everyone else, and so we try to incorporate that into our quilt show. And Loretta was just so inviting, I would say, and easy to talk with, and I thought she would be perfect to come and speak to our group, and people loved her today.
Yes, it was just fabulous. And I love that sense of, you know, quilters are community, right? We come together, and it doesn't matter, you know, if you live in Omaha or if you live in Paducah, you know, you have that bond, right? We're all quilters, we all know how to do that. And I just think that that's one of the really beautiful things about this setting is that, you know, it's a draw to quilters from all over the world, you know, to come here. Now, in the 90s, this building was condemned, but it got revived. Do you want to kind of tell that story?
Right. If I could step away for a second, I'll show you what it looked like. Yes, in 1999, the Hotel Metropolitan was condemned.
Look at this.
Look, you can't really tell it by this picture, but the roof was about ready to fall in.
Wow.
And it has the aluminum siding on it, so that kind of gives you an idea that was a 70s thing.
Sure.
It was popping off because the foundation was giving away.
Right.
And so it was just horrible. And so my friend and I happened to be on the vacant lot across the street one day. And this older gentleman came over to us because we set up a little building to help our kids in the area have a place to go where they can get candy and things like that.
Right.
Because otherwise, in this neighborhood, there were 4 or 5 liquor stores in the area, but there was not a grocery store anywhere for the kids to go to get candy or anything like that unless they went to the liquor store. Well, I didn't have anything against the people at the liquor store. They're nice.
Right.
But who wants that for their children?
Right.
And so we set up this little building, and this man came to us one day, and he said, I'm proud of you girls for doing this. He said, I wish you could save this building right here. And I said, they need to tear it down. It just was such a hot mess. I could see someone maybe starting a fire and you know.
Oh, right.
And so he said, oh no, baby. He said, Cab Calloway stayed there. Duke Ellington, B.B. King, Ella Fitzgerald, Pearl Bailey. He just went on with these names. I said, where? Where did they stay?
Yes.
And he said, right there, pointing over here to the hotel. And it looked just like this.
Wow. Wow. And so then, how did it be restored? How was it restored?
Well, it was still questionable if we would be able to convince the owners. After we came in the building, I think that's when we realized maybe it could be saved, because this is Clarence Big House Gaines on the wall.
Okay.
Let me say that again. Coach Clarence Big House Gaines. He had 828 wins throughout his career.
Wow.
When I met him in 2000, he was the 3rd winningest collegiate basketball coach in the country.
Fantastic.
He was right under Adolph Ruff, and he was upset about it. But he was the heir to the hotel.
Okay.
After his parents had passed away.
Okay.
And so when the hotel became condemned, we reached out to him and asked him if he would work with us, so we'll try to save it. And so he actually didn't want to donate it. He wanted to sell it to us.
Okay.
And it was condemned, and he wanted to sell it to us for $30,000.
Oh my goodness.
And so we were like, okay, we can't do that. And I guess the building will just be torn down, and you'll get billed $15,000. He said, whoa. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
He said, what do you intend? We told him and everything. So we called the state, got some help from the state. In fact, Dr. Turley, the lady that's speaking at the venue today, she was one of the people that the state sent to help us. And she said, had you been inside that building yet? And I said, no. And she said, you got to go in. How you know what you're fighting for if you don't go in? So we were hesitant, me and my friend Shirl, but we came in. There were no lights in the building. It was in the afternoon, about 3 o'clock. But because it was in the afternoon, the sun was coming from this direction. And when we opened the door, everything was covered in brown paneling. No pretty white lattice work. It was just brown. And you know how buildings smell when they've been locked up for a while?
That musty.
That smell. And on this wall right here, I just remember it so distinctly that the paneling had come from off the wall because the plaster had fallen down and it was all bulged down at the bottom. And so I looked at my friend and I'm like, what have we done?
Yeah, why are we saving this?
Yes. But when we got right here coming through this doorway, there was a lace curtain, old one. It was dirty and everything, but it was still up. And the sun just came through it in the most perfect way. And for just that brief moment, I could see Billie Holiday you know, coming down the
Down
stairwell.
the stairs.
Mahalia Jackson, and I thought about Coach Gaines because I asked him, who do you remember most about the hotel? And he went like this. It had to be Ella Fitzgerald.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
He said she was so beautiful coming down those stairs. And like I said, for that moment or two, when that light was coming through that curtain so perfect, I turned to my friend and I said, I'm in.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah.
And she said, me too.
That's great.
So
That's great.
23 years later.
There you go. And then how long did it take once you made that initial decision to kind of restore things?
Gosh, it took about 9 years.
Okay.
And I think any other project might have gotten done quicker. But in the African American community, it wasn't like we had a lot of support because there had been so many attempts at different projects, and they fall by the wayside because you know, some people like, oh, I don't want to support African American history because I'll have to talk about slavery, and I don't want to hear about slavery. But our history is so much more than that, and so that's why we restored the hotel so it could stand as something to show that women, that this black woman named Maggie Steed, a young woman, she was 24 years old, a widow, and she decided that she wanted this hotel so badly to offer to her people so they would have a safe place to stay. So I feel like that if nothing else, her life was a testimony for the things that can be achieved. And by us being able to save this hotel, we're doing it for Maggie, but yet we're also sharing the positive things that are in the history of African Americans.
Right. And sending that message to your posterity, and what a beautiful sentiment. So now my last question, so do people still stay here at the hotel?
Yes, of course, Loretta.
Yes.
Petway Bennett, she stayed here along with her aunt. So, yeah, we still have people to stay. Wonderful. And up and coming stars, and we're just proud that we've been able to open our doors. We even had Danielle. I don't know Danielle's last name, but she's from Aunt appears on the American Pickers.
Oh, right,
In fact, that's how the hotel appeared on American
there
Pickers.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
She said that we integrated it.
There you go. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us today. Now, if our viewers want to learn more about the hotel, do you have like a Facebook page or
we
website?
We do have a Facebook page.
Okay.
No website right now,
but just the Hotel Metropolitan. Perfect. So if you want to know more, you can check it out there. Again, thanks so much for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.